Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros: this is a sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard, which came out almost 4 years ago, back in 2017. And that first movie, when it came out at a pretty terrible time for the box office because summer 2017 was a joke. It was terrible. I mean, sure, there were hits. There was Wonder Woman, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider Man Homecoming, Dunkirk, just to name a few. Overall, it was a weak summer, and August was by far and away the worst of the summer months. By far, it was a nightmare. And Hitman's Bodyguard came out right near the end of August. Usually, business just dies around this time, but it managed to thrive. Opened like $21 million. It legged out to like 75 million domestic. I forgot how much it made worldwide. All right, here we go. I mean, 183 million worldwide. Not bad for a movie that cost $30 million. So naturally, it makes sense that they would want to make a sequel. So yeah, I would consider that a pro. That this is a sequel to a successful movie. Not super successful, but definitely successful enough for late summer standards. But now this is coming out earlier in the summer, so that changes things a bit. But still, sequel to a successful movie, automatically a pro. So that's pro number one. Pro number two, the cast. We got a A-list lineup, if you ask me. We got the five leads. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, Selma Hayek, Morgan Freeman, and Antonio Banderas. Now, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool was the biggest blessing to his career because since then, some of his movies have done pretty well, including the original Hitman's Bodyguard, and not to mention Detective Pikachu as well, and Deadpool 2. So yeah, he's highly recognizable, as is everyone else here. And the main reason why people watched that first Hitman's Bodyguard movie was because of the combination of Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. People saw that and were like, hey, that looks cool. That looks interesting. I should check that out. And that's what happened. So now you got those two again, plus Salma Hayek, who was in the original, but she kind of had a limited role here. Her role is far more expanded, which is why it's called Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, because she's the on-screen husband of Samuel L. Jackson's character. But now she's getting more of a spotlight. So, yeah, easily another pro. Got a strong cast, no question about that. Pro number three. There hasn't been any action movies since early May. That was Wrath of Man. That was the last one that came out. So action movie fans have been starving a bit since Wrath of Man. And I think this can fill that void. Although it does have some very direct competition coming up next week, which I'll talk about when we get to the cons. But still, for action movie fans, the lack of competition really helps. So that's another pro right there. And also another pro on top of that, just lack of competition in general. I mean, since Memorial Day, we've only had two real standout movies. Quiet Place 2 and Conjuring 3. Everything else has just done bad. Especially In the Heights. That was my worst prediction ever. That was a true embarrassment. But yeah, and the box office from this past weekend was pretty weak. Nothing really stood out all that much. So I think that gives Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard a chance to shine. So yeah, another pro right there. All right, cons. Big con, easily the biggest con of them all. A little movie called F9 comes out next weekend. F9 is an action movie, as is Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. And the thing is, F9 is a more accessible action movie because Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard is rated R. F9, PG-13. That's a problem. It means there's a high chance a good chunk of Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard's audience is going to be stolen by F9. So F9 really sorry, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard has to make as much money as it can in a week and a half before F9 destroys it. Okay, so that's a humongous problem. It has to deal with F9 very soon. So yeah, big con right there. Direct competition with F9. Another con. Honestly, this feels like one of those sequels that should have been made. Like, people are going to be asking that. Like, does this deserve to exist? Because there is a chance, a high chance, that this movie could suffer a little thing called sequelitis, where people, they like the original and they're fine with the original, but then once they see another one, they're just like, I don't know, man, I'll skip out on it. 2019 was filled with sequelitis movies like Godzilla King of the Monsters, Dark Phoenix, Men Black International, Secret Life of Pets 2. And those all came out around the same time. So, yeah, when it comes to sequels, like, I'm trying to think of one that really blew up. I guess Frozen 2. Well, for every Frozen 2, there's... I'm trying to think of one that did really, really horrible. Shoot. I can't think of anything. It's been so long since we've had like a legitimate sequel. Well, I guess there was Bad Boys for Life. That did great. And that was also an R-rated action movie. So that's a better comparison. For every Bad Boys for Life, there is a Shaft 2019. There we go. Shaft 2019. That bombed hard. And that also had Samuel L. Jackson in it. So yeah. Yeah, I guess it kind of depends on how well it does this weekend, whether it retains at least a majority of its predecessor's audience, or it retains less than half. That's a definite possibility. So, yeah, con right there is that this could suffer some serious sequelitis. Another con, obviously, audience restrictions, pandemic, all that will negatively affect this movie in some way, although it's not impossible for a movie to do well. I mean, look at Quiet Place 2. Look at Godzilla vs. Kong. Hell, look at Conjuring 3. Conjuring 3 did okay, all things considered. And Godzilla vs. Kong and Conjuring 3 had to deal with the HBO Max thing. This doesn't. This is theatrical only. So, yeah. Obvious con, pandemic, and audience restrictions. All right, that's it for that. Opening weekend, we have to do 3-day and 5-day because this opens on Wednesday. Oh, I forgot to mention Wednesday opening. It used to be a common thing like a decade ago, but they stopped. Not exactly sure why. Maybe because more people are working during the week and they don't have time to go see a movie midweek. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, they don't really do it that much anymore. So it's kind of a rarity unless it's like a holiday or something. So yeah, I would consider that kind of a con, is that Wednesday release is not very common anymore. So yeah. Anywho, all right. 3-day opening, Friday through Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. First one opened with 21 million. I don't think this is going to reach that because of how poorly my last predictions did. I was way too optimistic with those. I'm going to be more realistic. I'm going to say for the 3-day weekend, 10 to 15 million for the 3-day. And then for the 5-day, I'm going to say 15 to 20. I think that's reasonable enough. And overall, probably make 50 something million dollars, 40, 50, yeah, 50, which, wouldn't be terrible, all things considered, but still wouldn't be too great. But I could be wrong. This could totally overperform. I know they had those special previews this past weekend, but I don't know how well those did. So, yeah, I can't really judge the movie's performance off those. But if this movie has good word of mouth and people like it and have fun with it, it could overperform. But as of right now, I have no idea how it will do. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, so that's it for this weekend or midweek with Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Like, if things went the way they were supposed to, I would have talked about Luca, but because Disney decided to push that movie, well, some would say dump that movie on the Disney Plus, I can't talk about it. So, yeah, that sucks. But what can we do? And I am planning on seeing Luca because I'm bored. I have nothing better to do. Yeah, so that's it for this weekend. Next weekend, the big movie of June and of the summer so far, F9, The Fast Saga. That is going to be a true, or even more of a test than Quiet Place 2 was. Because Fast Furious is one of the biggest franchises of all time. The last two main entries, excluding Hobbs and Shaw, made $1 billion. Hell, those two movies made $1 billion without the United States. So that just shows you how big of a deal Fast and Furious is to Universal. So I guess we're just going to have to see if it can live up to those high expectations. Will it? We'll have to find out. Yeah, but that's coming next weekend. And that's the end of June. I know June was kind of slow, but don't you worry. July is going to heat up and heat up fast. We have Boss Baby 2, Forever Purge, Black Widow, Escape Room Tournament of Champions, Space Jam: A New Legacy. All these July 23rd, and the rest for July 30th. That's a lot of movies. It's going to be exhausting. But it should be fun, hopefully. But yeah, that is it. That is all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage. Of all previous prediction videos I made this year, from Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, Demon Slayer, Quiet Place 2, Conjuring 3, Peter Rabbit 2, all the classics, and every other movie that's come out this year. If you want to check out any of those, plus any of my past predictions for like 2019 and 2020, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series, which I think is pretty much over at this point. I don't think anything else should be delayed anymore. So, yeah. But if you want to check out any of my canceled episodes, all 68 I've made up to this point, you can go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. The June recap will come out first thing in July. That's a guarantee. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.